Welcome. How are we making out today? I had to think about myself this morning. I had my coffee. Well, I don't drink coffee, but tea. I have my cup that says, wake, pray, slay. I think that's how I feel right now. It's been such a time. You're probably feeling a little bit like I was, like you don't want to know anything else right now. What's going on this summer. Just go and sit on the beach and unplug from everything. I would highly recommend it. Today is a call-in show, 1-800-930-2819. We're going to answer your questions. I'm taking a little hiatus for the next 2 weeks. So we're going to have our encore shows with Janet Angela Mills and then Dr. JJ Kelly, who you all loved, and we got your great feedback. And then I'll be back for another call-in show. And we have a great guest at the end of July. You're going to want to check who is coming, and you're going to want to call in early if you would like a little bit of clarification from him. So make sure you check back on Transformation Talk Radio to see who our special guest is. I'm really excited he's able to join us. He's so busy as well. I wrote a few notes today, and I want to give you some tips how to navigate through what's happening for the summer months. I know it's been up and down. A lot of my clients have been emailing me and saying, you know what, Trace, like I don't even want to turn anything on. I'm tired of hearing the same thing every day. And I'm going to highly advise you don't. During this time right now, if you can take a few things you can do that will really help you. Salt scrubs are huge. And I know I talk about it. I cannot reiterate enough right now. 3 times a week, get in the shower. I really like and recommend to use, if you can, the Greek salt. It's in a white bottle with blue lid. If you go to a Greek restaurant, you'll see it. Why? I know for where I am, Costco sells it in 3 packs and it's like $4 or something for 3 packs. Why do I like it? Because it's fine. It's not going to scratch your skin, but it takes off negative energies of the day. So I would highly recommend you do that. The other thing I would recommend right now is keep a bowl of salt under your bed. Doesn't matter how much. People always like, how much? You're not going to get it wrong, guys. Just get a little bowl, put a little bit of salt, cover the bottom, put it under the bed. Every week, take that salt and dump it in your toilet. Say, thank you, God, just whatever, universe divine, push it down the toilet, wash away. What it'll do while you're sleeping, it will also help to remove anything negative that's come up through the day for you. We need a lot of clearing and cleansing tools right now. And the reason we require that is because the energies are up and down, up and down. If you ever have found yourself watching a Netflix show, I'm sure all of you have, you say, yes, I remember watching a Netflix show. How many times have you watched a Netflix show and there's no commercials? Because remember the days where you had to actually wait a week or a month to watch the next episode, and you'd sit there and you'd be like, go do something else, and you'd miss the show because of all the commercials. Now, when you watch a Netflix show or something on Prime or any of these stations, Crave, whatever you like to watch, you can get into a series, and sometimes it can pull you right in, right? Where you've all done it, called the binge watch, right? Where the weekend goes by and you're like, oh my God, I watched the whole season. The energy behind that starts to loop into the brain and we've all done it. So I'm not saying this to beat yourselves up, but I want to relate it back to what's going on in the media right now so you can really understand and why it's grating or why you feel like you need to watch more. The energy of that is, I gotta go know what happens next. It will start to trigger energetic frequencies in the brain and the heart. So it's like, I got to get to know what's happening next. So it pulls you in, right? It draws you into that storyline. And then also when you're watching that storyline, it will trigger anything that's going on in your world. It just will. That's why we get drawn to watching certain movies, because there's a fascination of past life or shows, or sometimes you just want to check out. The news right now and all of those alternative stations, whatever it is, whether you're watching things around the financial markets or around what's going on in the world with protests or Corona or whatever you're watching, it has a similar effect. So the energy, so there's use with manipulation of words and vibrational frequencies. So if you start to watch it for a couple of days, it'll bring you in and then you'll be like, oh, I got to know what's going on. But I want to remind you, if you've ever remember what it's like to actually unplug, if you know what that's like to unplug for a couple of weeks, And if you don't watch it, nothing's really changed when you come back. Like sometimes things will. Now, this summer into the fall, a lot of energy is going to shift. So there's going to be a lot of things that you will hear. And this is why it's really important to stay grounded, to stay centered, and to stay neutral. It's why I love my one simple tool. And when you hit that heart space, thank you, God, reset, let go. Thank you, God, reset, let go. Thank you, God, reset, let go. I say it 3 times. You can replace it however it works for you to remove the toxins on the physical and the mental level and the emotional level. This is really important right now because it allows you to have a stronger connection. So, what's also happening right now that a lot of people may not understand as our vibrations are shifting really quickly, we're moving into, we are into a higher dimensional energy, which is more loving and more kind, even though it doesn't look like that right now. It will go there over time, right? It's time for these reflections to come out. So, what you'll find, and I find this in my own life right now, because I am very adamant about doing my own inner work on a regular basis. I love my life now, but there are things that will come up at different times that all of a sudden are like, oh, I think I need to look at that, right? Or how do I feel about that? And I do it, I keep cleaning. What happens though, every time you do that, you do what I call another jump. When we do another jump, you're jumping up what I call the ladder of life. So your vibrational frequency is getting cleaner. Your heart space is getting more connected to the God of your understanding. And all of a sudden, your energy levels will start to move higher. So, what happens when that happens? There's a lot of people that will not understand that. They'll want you to be the old you right now. They'll want you to have the same old conversations. They'll want you to not skyrocket ahead of them. And it's very important right now you understand this, because I know for myself this year, I've gone through about 8 big jumps. And every time I jump, I get resistance from people, places, or things. And it's normal. It will happen in your life. So, what am I saying? Every time I clean out stuff that no longer serves me, that says, oh, did you know I was in here for so long? And you're like, no. When I remove it and things become clear and you become stronger. And what happens if we jump, then people have resistance. And it'll happen in every area. They won't like, so for me, they might have some resistance of how I connect to God or how I run my business. That's normal. And it's normal with every business when you jump. Might you have people within your own life that will actually, they'll start to leave away. That would be your friends or maybe your family members, right? They'll start to just give you resistance. They want the old way. And the reason it's so important that you get this message right now, and I think that hand of God to strengthen you, is because you are going to be, if you're doing this work, I know people in our Miraculous Academy, I'm with them 5 days a week, and they're constantly shifting every area of life, which really clearly shows how the groundedness in the body, the love in the body, the connection to God, it's moving so fast, so fast. Like this last half of the year will move faster than you've ever seen it before. Thank you, God. So this is the importance right now to make sure you understand this and keep in your lane. I always say to my group, stay in your lane. It's so important. And community, coming together to have those places so you don't feel alone when you're going through the jumps, because they can feel lonely. You can have a lot of emotional release right now, very common. You can have a lot of states where you're like, I felt really happy this morning, feeling a little sad. And you might go, what is going on? And the go-to for everyone is always, oh, it's your hormones, and it's not. It can be at different times, yes. But it's very much time to understand your physical issues do come from energetic issues. So when you start to really pay attention to things that are not serving you, and you start to really focus on grounding yourself and how you can better yourselves, you're going to start to see a lot of the physical issues will drop off. I know in my communities, a lot of people right now, they've been talking about bloating and expansion of the body. Very normal, because, and I've even gone through this, because the body is working to expand, contract, expand, contract, because there's so many heavy emotions that are being pushed out into the world right now. So you have to understand that these heavy emotions will affect you. Think about if you've been on a bus or you drive down the street, you don't even realize how many messages are being thrown in your field. And it becomes very much, well, I've driven here 100 times, but the things on the billboards, walking by people that maybe are having arguments, your body still will pick that up because we're all connected, which can make this system feel a little bit heavier. So as we go through this latter part of the year, you must understand very clearly why this is so important more than ever to stay very connected to the God of your understanding, because also old ways of shifting energy, old ways of connections are coming undone now. They're not going to work. And a lot of people say to me, why are they not working anymore? They're not working anymore because they're kind of like, they're just getting to be obsolete. So you need to morph them and use them into something new that connects you directly to the God of your understanding, which is that universal energy of love. So a lot of people will say to me, well, what does that look like? And you have to understand, there's a lot of universes, galaxies, planets, dimensions. We only know our little universe. You don't know what's in all the others. So the God energy overrides all of them, that energy of love, all of them. And just like on earth, how we see, people that are not of the light, not wanting the best for each other. And we see the people of the light that are like, wake up, let's help each other, let's love each other, let's support each other. So when that happens, what happens is we have that energy is also all over the universe and the galaxies and the planetary systems. So there are good planetary systems and there are heavy planetary systems. So when you start to understand that, that's where the change comes from. So just tune in for a second. Okay. And let's make sure we move that around. Thank you, God. Okay. So tune in. And where do you need that boost today? Where do we need that energetic shift? Where do you feel ungrounded? And a lot of times people as well, it's time to be in nature more than ever before. So make sure that you guys are not hiding just in your home. So it's really important. The other cleansing space is to make sure that you shift out of your home and go into nature without your headset and without, loud noise. So what I do is I go to a property where I'll cut the grass all day. And I like it because you can be outside and you're connecting with nature and you're connecting with everything out there that is not of the media world. So I'm going to highly recommend that you pull back from the media world right now and open into the new. So really a lot of shifting. I know we have a lot of callers today, so I want to get to a bunch of you guys. So Zach, I think we'll go. So just take that energy and just think, what can you do to change? How can you empower yourself? And what are the things? So turn off the media, do the salt scrubs. If you're going to listen to things like this. When I mean turn off the media, turn off the stuff that's just feeding you news or updates. You don't need that, but you want to shift your energy. You want to be very aware. And this is also the time to get out of any form of victim mode. It's really important now, and it's going to be a struggle for some people. So make sure you look around and you say, where am I partaking in this way of being? And we can help you. You know where we are, tracylclark.com. All right. Okay, Zach, we have Juliana on the line. Is that correct?
Yes, we have Juliana from Mississauga. You're live on the Tracy L Clark Show.
Juliana?
Hi, Tracy.
There you are. Oh, okay. I think I can hear you now. I had to turn my headset. What's your question today?
My question is, I kind of lost some of my hearing in the last half of the year.
Yes.
And I was wondering if that's like something to do with the energy flow.
Yeah, it is with the energy flow. It's also what happens with our hearing, and a lot of times it will start to go down, especially now. I've noticed this year it's actually a bigger issue than most people think. It's a common one that I hear right now. And a lot of it is all the noise. We have so much noise in the world right now. People say, well, it's just because I listened to something loud or I had my ear pods in too much or whatever. And we can back that out. Sure, that's going to cause some of it. It's actually not related to aging or anything. It's actually there's so much noise in the world that what happens is the little hairs in the canals of the ear, they actually start to get fried and they start to say, I don't want to hear anymore. And then it starts to affect the flow. It starts to affect the hearing and the eardrums and everything else in the canals. So let's actually start to command to remove the spaces in. You don't like it either if you hear people nattering at you or they feel like they're talking at you. So it looks like your body is also releasing any energy where people have been talking at you, not listening to you. Can you relate to that?
Yes, I have it constantly.
Yeah, it's a big energy and that's what's causing the hearing to come down. Let me just strengthen this. And I'm going to actually, thank you, God, I'm going to strengthen the field on every level and layer. We'll command the eardrums to open. We'll command the ear canals. People laugh. I say sometimes put your fingers in your ears when you're commanding them to open too, because it's just as a way that the energy flows from the heart into the arms, into the fingers. And we have to start to remove that. But the bigger thing is we need to strengthen your field to all the people around you and the various combinations where they're nattering. And you'll probably notice a few things will happen. I'll remove this block. When they're nattering, you still probably won't hear much. But when you go out into other areas, it'll start to perk up. So we'll turn the dial up a bit, but we got to get the little hairs nice and strong as well. And the ear canals and the eardrums. Your ears are really tired. They're like, I don't want to hear that anymore. Yeah, you're literally blocking them out. So it's like there's many people when you get around them, it would be like those construction guys that they wear those big earmuffs, like to keep the sound out when they're hammering. That's what it looks like on your head, and it looks like they've been there for quite a long time. So let's remove that, and then we'll command them to go back. How does that feel now? How does it feel in the body when you
releasing?
Yeah, letting it go. There's it almost looks, what I would also recommend is just like you can, like, thank you God, and just keep pulling, like literally you swirl your hands around your ears and pull the energy out and drop it into the ground, because you have an internal energetic field and an external energetic field, and it'll signal I'm not listening to that. But it can pull out any extra blockages. And what you can find is that also there you can get like that, how you feel like wax is coming out of your ears. So a lot of times people say, oh, it feels like it's draining. The other thing I'll adjust to you, and I'm not sure where this comes in the field, it looks like a long time. Also be mindful of, I don't know why it's flagging if you've had an issue, but be mindful of how much dairy that is not like that is cow dairy that you put in your system. So I don't know why it's flagging. So, is it? Do you notice that if you have some of it?
Yeah, I can't handle it.
Yeah, you probably can't handle it. So that looks like it's been in your field a long time. So there's still residual, there's toxins, there's something around there that I got to move, whatever it was, however they deemed it as did they deem it as an allergy or just an intolerance?
I just don't drink it or eat it because it bothers me.
Yeah, like no cheese, like nothing unless it's like goat milk. Or you look fine with goat stuff, but you don't look fine with anything else. It also created a little bit of it looks like a toxin. I can smell it too. So let's just remove the intolerance. So when we have any form of intolerance, we also want to remove it. So you still don't have to have it, but we don't want it if for some reason you go out and you eat something and it's in there or whatever, and you don't know, we don't want your body reacting, where it'll also plug up the ears. Okay.
Okay.
So let's remove the intolerance. Does it feel lighter in the body?
Much lighter. Thank you.
Yeah, well done. Thank you for calling.
Thanks.
And go outside today. Enjoy the day. It's a beautiful day.
I will. Bye.
Lots of love. All right. So we have Jessica on the line, Zach?
Yes, we have Jessica from Toronto. Jessica.
Hi, Jessica. Ooh.
Hi, Tracy. How are you?
I'm fabulous. How are you today?
I'm much better than yesterday. So
good.
I've been feeling frustrated, irritated,
yeah,
angry more than usual. I really work on myself a lot for years now, but I'm not seeing anything change, and it feels like there's something holding my soul. I pay for programs and memberships, and I feel good, but it goes back to the same prison. Like, I feel like my soul is in a prison, regardless of how much I ask for something, speak out loud, and what I want shifted.
Yeah.
And what I want to bring into my life. I'm honestly sick of asking for the same things and just want to know what is it that has a hold of me, and remove it once and for all so I can live my life fully with ease.
So what happens when you step into, so you ask and then you let it go? Because it looks like also too, like when we ask for the same things, we create that block. So I'm going to remove that. There's more of an energy block that it's crossing you over the line. So you probably feel like you get to the line and then you pull back, right? So what we want to do is get you over the line. Actually what's coming up is I have to strengthen you to being okay with having all that you ask for. So I will remove it sounds worse than it is, but curses, witchcraft, spells, black magic. But if you actually had what you asked for, what would have to change in your life? Like who would go? What would it look like? What would leave?
Sorry, can you repeat that again?
So if you looked and you had all that you asked for in your world right now, what in your world truthfully do you look at and say, oh, I would actually have to lose that?
Well, I've worked on my relationships and removed myself from certain relationships that were bringing me down.
But right now, if you looked right now and said, if I got everything that I'm asking for here, what would change in my life? What would I have to let go of?
I would have love, peace.
So truthfully, do you, on every level, feel you actually deserve that in your world?
Yes.
Okay, because there is some hesitation and resistance. I can actually feel it in the heart. It's like, if I get all of this, then what happens to my life? So let me remove the blocks and the resistance where you get everything. So this is when we also start to do different actions. So while you're asking, and different actions are simple, like people think they have to be related to everything you're doing in your day, so they're simple. They're like, if you drive one way to work, you drive a different way. If you walk one place, you walk a different way. And it sounds simple. And you're like, how would that relate to bringing things in? Because it allows the energetic field to go in a different direction. So let's start to remove. How do you feel about taking risk? Because I have a huge block there.
I want to take risk. I want to step forward, but I still feel in my heart that there's a huge ton weighing me down.
You got it. Yes. There's a big fear there about actually taking a risk and just saying, if I fall off the cliff, I'm okay. So there's a bunch of information that's behind you that's actually carrying with you. That's the heaviness. That's what you feel. So it's like lifting and taking off a U-Haul truck off your butt, basically. I don't know how to describe it. So let's remove that. We'll bind that, cast that, curse that out, and to strengthen you to take the risk and to move into a new direction. This is really good for a lot of people right now too, because the world is like a salt and pepper shaker right now. And we can feel like we've stepped forward, then we go back, or we step forward, or we're waiting really long for something. And this is like part of that time where I say to people, if you can really unplug, because it's so uncertain based on what's happening. But that's where the greatest risk reward comes in. So if we can strengthen you to see that taking a risk in any area, no matter what it looks like, that you're okay. And then just realizing that we got to remove the rest of this accumulation from the past, get you moving and looking forward so the body doesn't have to feel it, experience it, or hold it. How does that feel now when you look at taking a risk? Does that feel lighter?
Yes, it feels much lighter, but I feel like my body's going through like a shaky feeling.
Good. That's what you want. That's the energy moving out. That's what you want. So what I want you to do is write down, what risk am I willing to take today? And sit with it. Sit with it. It looks like for about 24 hours. And if we can get you moving on that, even Maggie agrees. You can hear my cat in the back. She's like, hello. If we can get you there, we can get you over the line really quickly. Fair?
Okay. Thank you.
That's what I want to hear from you next, what risk you took. Okay?
Yes, I'm going to do it.
Okay, perfect. Then we're going to get you over. Awesome. Have an incredible day.
Thank you. You too.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. I can't believe, okay, bottom of the hour. Maggie's like, let's go. Check us out, tracylclark.com. And this is the thing, too. If you're having issues with this, one of the things I want to say with how we do the Miraculous Academy is that's where you can actually submit your regular personal questions. They come to me, and that's why I've created it that way to help you if you feel like you're stuck. So people use that and say, I'm really stuck. I need a shift here. I need support there. That's what I was talking about at the top of the hour. Because right now we can't do this alone, or we feel like we've done every program, or we've gone for a session, and I get it. I've gone for sessions and said, okay, in the past, right? What do I need to shift? I feel like I've got this weight, like Jessica was saying. And that's why I created. It's very unique. So when you get to speak with me directly that way, and we get to shift it and see what's happening. Maggie says, let's go. It's time for break. So we'll be back right after this. All right, we're back, and I know we're backed up on the calls. And so let's go straight to the lines, and we have Madura on the line, right, Zach?
Yes, we have Madura from Calgary. Madura, you're live on the Tracy L Clark Show.
Hi, Madura.
Tracy. How are you?
I'm fabulous. What's your question today?
I have two questions for
Absolutely.
you. One is with my husband. Okay. He's feeling really, really stuck right now.
Yeah.
With his job, and he's just like spiraling downwards.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything we can shift for him?
Yeah, we can move a little bit away. He's actually looking, the problem is he's focusing too much on the fears and what he thinks he doesn't have versus what he does have. So it's like total paralyzation. You probably picked that up. So we can start to remove it. And then it's falling into that little bit of a trap, which some people do. They say, well, there's nothing for me. Look what's happening in the world. And I can remove a bunch of hooks where it is actually, he's kind of being his own worst enemy, because you can see there are other opportunities. People forget during change, and I say this a lot, that during even the Great Depression, everyone talks about breadlines and no money, but they forget to tell you the other side was there was massive amounts of new jobs and creation and, you know, new opportunities. And for some reason, they don't want people to know that side. So it's a similar energy that he's stuck in. Oh, it hurts my throat. You're also tired of trying to keep pumping him up and say, hey, guy, you got to get out there, talk to different people. Because there's people that also don't even realize that he could connect with, that he used to know, that are in that job market and in that place as well. And if they knew that, hey, I'm here, it would actually start to spark more information for him and more opportunities. So we'll adjust and see what he's willing to let go of. Yeah. There's a big part of him that just is like, whatever, like he just wants to sort of give up, right? So let's start to remove that.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you, Rod. Okay. And the second question.
The second question is I have a client who is kind of draining my energy.
Yeah.
And I feel like I need to fire her.
Yeah, we need to create some big boundaries, and I can start to remove some of the karma and the agreements. So it became very overstepping. So your agreements that you set out have been now violated, which happens a lot in different businesses and things that we're doing, where then they feel it's okay or they feel it's justified. And sort of, you know, when you open the little door and then like, what was okay last time, rather than saying, hey, you know what, I gave you some extra time. Can I compensate you for that? Or can I give you, like, are you okay with some extra time? So that's also what's coming up, is all the places you've been disrespected where people just assumed it was okay to actually overstep in your space. And this is like throughout your life. And this is actually where we can start to cut this energy off, where it's like, you know what? And I get it. I have it even in my field, and it pops up every once in a while where it's like, you know what? So this, and it comes from a place where for us to feel like we need to fit in, or it's a little bit of the pleasing. So we allow it, and then we realize we're being disrespected. And that's we're going to cut that off for you. So you can say, you know what, I need you to respect this as our agreement, because she's now crossing over to that, like, you're her friend in a way. So that's also just, that's blurring the line, right? So let's start to clean this up. And it looks like you could just send back and say, you know what, I love being able to help you. I've been able to help you here, but I have a lot on my go. And if you would like to renew the contract, we can look at new terms. I would actually go there first because it looks like she really likes you and she feels safe with you. So there's probably a way to renegotiate that first.
She's crossed the line several times, and
huge. But you also didn't set that. Yeah, and you didn't set the boundary. So this is the opportunity to remove the rest of the energy where other people have done it and reset the boundary now, so you can actually be really strong and say, you know what, we need to renegotiate that because we've sort of gone over. So you can do it in a nice email. You can do it in a conversation. If it's not accepted, then I would cut her out. Then I'd say I'm not able to work with you because it is taking too much time.
I was writing a letter saying that as of July 1st, I just don't feel like that I'm supporting you in the right way anymore.
Yes, and that's a great way to put it because you want to give them the best way. So you have to renegotiate the contract. So on that, say, you know, are we able to negotiate the contract? This is what it would probably look like. Let me know. I'd be happy to support you because we need to make sure it works both ways. And if you put it more like that, like, you know, off it goes, then what it looks like, the rest of this energy starts to come off your tailbone is where it's sitting right now, and then connected into the heart space. And then that old energy will leave you, and you'll start to see that'll also command better clients and better business and better respect for you and your time. How does that feel now?
Really good.
Yeah, it feels really good. So when you're done, so I'll highlight the letter. We've cleared off the karma and the debts and everything. You to her to you, and just be very neutral. Well, you know what? If you want to come, this is the terms. If not, then I'm sorry, I can't help you. And as business owners, this is always hard to do because you're like me. I know you want to help people. You want to get out there. You want to do whatever. But if people can't respect how you run your business, and a lot of people that don't have a business will try to push boundaries to tell you how to run your business, and it can't work that way. It's your business, your way. You have children and a family, so it's your respect. Does that feel better?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, so let me know. Your letter's highlighted, so you can send it anytime.
Thank you.
Perfect. Have an incredible day, okay? And let me know how that goes.
You too.
All right, lots of love. So I think, Zach, we have Malin on the line.
Malin, yes, from Toronto. Malin, you are live on the Tracy L Clark Show.
Hi, Malin.
Huh? Hi.
Oh, there you are.
My question to sorry, I couldn't get kind of me. My question today is astrological third eye headaches.
Yes. Why are they so strong right now?
Yes, and
yes,
it affects my whole right eye, and I'm like,
yes. Okay, so with the I'll adjust this for you and for everybody listening. This is a great question because what's happening right now astrologically, we're moving, and I said this at the top of the hour, we're moving very, very quickly. We're in the fifth dimensional energy. A lot of people are still working in the third dimension, and what's happening as we move to these higher frequencies, people's sensory systems are coming on board differently. So that's the third eye. That's how you hear things, how you feel things that are not of the third dimensional world, meaning we're just having a conversation. So a lot of very aware people can find the pressure. So what's happening is there's a cobweb kind of on there that can keep that area closed and shut down. And when it's actually looking like in your space, it's, and a lot of people that will actually hear this, I call it draconian energy. It's very dark, heavy energy that looks very old, implanted, that's trying to come off. So it's showing now. So let's pull it off, which will allow it clear. So when it gets pressure, because it's like, I don't need this anymore. It's like a part that you don't need to have anymore. So you can actually have better vision, better sight, and better clarity for how you want to move through in your life. So right now, everything is increasing super fast. So let's adjust that. Let's remove the webbing and that darker draconian energy, which usually attacks our third eye because it doesn't want us to even see clearly with our regular eyes, right? So as babies, you have the third eye is wide open. Then we train to look at our two eyes, and that sensory system can start to get closed. So it looks like you're ready for a shift. So let's adjust that, and then I'll just reharmonize the right and the left eye, and then we'll do a triad from the third eye to the right and left eye. There we go. And we'll remove the weakness from all three of them connecting. How does that feel now?
I feel it lifting up in third eye, but the right eye is still major pressure. It was like I woke up in the middle of the night and it was like this head, it was like a veil coming down, covering my right eye, and then my side. And I was just like energetically lifting it back, and I'm like, does this work?
Okay, so we'll just adjust that again. I'll move some of that perception out, and I'll move some of the heavy frequency off the system where it's weighting down, and then we'll release the rest of that pressure. Thank you, God. And let's just restabilize again the right and the left, and we'll actually just command the skull just, thank you, God, just to move a little bit. Thank you, God. And to release pressure. So where there's also too much internal and external pressure, we'll pull that off the body as well and reverse that out and make it a little bit more harmonized. How does that feel now?
It feels better, actually. Thank you.
Yeah, it's shifting. Give it about another 60 minutes or so. I would also recommend keeping your eyes closed. I can feel it like quite a bit in both your eyes now with the third eye. So what I would do is, if you can, take a little bit of a rest. It's showing for about 60 minutes to give your eyes a little bit of a break, and then it looks like it should clear off. Okay?
Okay.
All right, perfect. Thank you. All right. Have a great day. We have Sophia on the line. Is that correct?
Looks like we lost Sophia. Do you want to go down
her?
to
Okay, we'll go to Christine then, if we've lost her. Yeah.
Christine in London. You are live on the Tracy L Clark Show.
Hi, Christine.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hi. Hey, sorry, that was weird. There was some sort of time delay.
That's okay. What's your question today?
Well, my question is, I've been doing lots of work, as you know, letting go and
Big one.
getting out in nature. Okay.
Yep.
Yep. And you know, but I still have a final blockage. And it seems to be hanging on to my intestines.
Okay, so when you say, yes, it is in your intestines, the colon, the rectum, the anus, everything's a little bit blocked up. So the processing center, so you've been starting to shift through processing, and you have to understand that when the body starts to release and let go, you can feel a little bit of the push-pull. So you've been going through, you're doing your work, you're seeing where you need to shift and where you need to change. And that's a whole new change for you this year, right? So what's happening is the old energy that was in your physical system is getting a little bit backed up because some of it wants to hold on. It's like, well, wait a minute. We've been with you your whole life, and now you're telling us we can't stay anymore? And you're like, no, you can't. So let's go into the small and large intestine. So that's part of our processing center. So what I'll do also, thank you, we're going to speed up your processing center a little bit faster to let go. So the things you want to hold on to, you can be more discerning. So it's like a little light switch. When we start to kind of go, ooh, can I let that go? So this is what I would ask myself. If I were you, I'd be like, truthfully, where am I holding on and why? And truthfully, where am I afraid to let this go? This is a really powerful statement if for everyone listening, because when you say that, it's very quick that our mental brain, and I hear this all the time, well, I don't have any things and I don't, I'm fine, everything's good, and I have no issue letting that go. But if it's in your body, you have some issue letting it go. And that's where people are like, well, no, I'm fine. I'm like, but then you wouldn't have it in the body, right? So you get this. So what we want to do is truthfully, are you ready to let the block go? And truthfully, what would happen if you let it go? So what again, and I said this earlier, I think it was to Juliana or Jessica, what would change if you let that old pattern go, that old block? What would have to truthfully change in your world?
Oh, I think it's my old marriage. That's what that needs to let go of. But it's really difficult when the children are still connected.
Yeah. So what we can do, because I've been there, I get it. We can actually disconnect you from the past experiences and the old partner and the soul ties with that partner and the experiences. But it also looks like you do have a little bit of jammed up, and I can feel that in my intestines, jammed up energy where it looks like the experience that you had talked about while you were together, the things you would do, like, just randomly, you still have a lot of that plugged up in your system. So your system on a subconscious level will be looking for things like, oh, remember when we said in 2 years we would take the kids here? Or remember when we said in 10 years we were going to do this? That's what's actually, those memories are holding you to your children to him. So are you okay if I start to break all that? I can feel this in my intestines.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can feel it now. It makes sense because the kids could still come back and say, do you remember that holiday we were supposed to take to Costa Rica?
Yes. So their bodies are looking for it, yours, which keeps an attachment. And a lot of people don't even realize this. They don't realize everything that they have talked about or created, and they come up at different times. So now your body, and you just said it, the kids will be like, remember when you said, now the body, because you've been doing the work, you're letting go, you're taking responsibility and accountability. It's like, oh, remember this? So this is the layer that can leave to allow what we have to remove also is the resistance anywhere you had known or unknown, where there was a spirit of resistance, not allowing you to fully create the new because it's looking at the old.
Oh.
So let me remove this because it's like a fork in the road. So you try to go down the new one, but it's pulling you to the other lane, saying, well, wait a minute, we're supposed to still go to Costa Rica, or we're supposed to still go over here, even though physically and mentally you're looking at your life, but I don't have anything to do with that anymore. But it's an energy, and the body remembers everything. It's same as when I say to people, you can have, when we talk about a past life coming up, that all of a sudden you watch a movie and you're triggered, and that's because you have some resonance. So your body has tons of resonances that have been there your whole life. So this is just one we're ready to let go. So let's speed this up. You to your children, to your old partner, the ties. We're going to send that back to God. Thank you, God, with unconditional love and justice in only the way God knows how. So let's remove that at the roots of the seeds. It's in your throat, actually, right now, right at the top. There we go. Now we can move that.
Oh.
How does that feel now?
Oh, my stomach is gurgling like crazy.
Yeah, you might have a run to the bathroom.
Yes, I know. It's just even swollen up just now. Just sat here.
Yeah. It expands to look at everything and to let it go. So one of the things, if you open the palms of your hands and just press your thumbs into the middle of your hands and just remind yourself, your body needs to be reminded, and I'll strengthen everybody's systems listening and increase that beautiful God energy in you. Thank you, God. Is to go, it's safe to let this go. It's really safe, because remember, your body thinks it's doing you a service by holding on to it, because it's like, well, you said we were doing this and now you've changed your mind. So I always say you put your hands on the stomach if that's where it is. And it's like, you know what? It's safe to let this go. It's okay to let this go. And when we start talking to our systems that way, you start to get a lot clearer. And then when you have a new experience come in, I would start to look at your future timeline. So meaning in your highest and best self. So look at things that are unfolding, that you would like to unfold, and say, okay, thank you, God. I'm replacing the old timeline with my new timeline that's now in my highest and best interest. And I'll do that for you right now too. But if you can repeat that, I'm taking my old timeline, I'm letting it go, I'm safe.
Yep.
Thank you, God. I'm overriding and speaking in or replacing, whatever feels right, the new timeline. How does that feel now?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And I'll just quickly remove some Akashic record info. So things that are kind of following you that no longer serve you, and whoever was watching that or helping to make it, stay in this place, we can remove all of that and open up to the records that are now in your highest and best interest. So that should feel a lot better.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Have an incredible day. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy.
You know what? It's really interesting during this time. I know we have so many more callers on, and I'm going to be back 2 weeks from this. So we have a little you'll have our encore show for the next 2 weeks, and then I'll be back for another call-in show because we're at the top of the hour, and I wish if we could go another 2 hours, but we can't. So I want to remind you guys, if you're struggling with something or something isn't moving in the way that you feel it should, and you're doing your work and you're focusing, look and say, what is it that I could change about my routine? I would start there right now too, because the energy will serve you. What is it that I'm missing about this? Thank you, God. What is it that I'm not getting because this isn't shifting? So what is it I'm not getting about this situation? Show me the truth. Thank you, God, of what I am not getting. But you also have to be very strong and very willing to see what you're not getting. So what will happen a lot of times, you'll say, well, I get it. But if it's still stuck, there's something you're not getting. So I had done a show and I was doing a class online and for my Miraculous Academy. And I was telling them how recently, because I've always been an overachiever and I never really fully got the root because I'd done all this work around it. And it came up when I was now I'm getting ready to launch my book in September while writing the book. So it came up and I realized, oh my God, that's why I've been an overachiever. I need to close the door. I need to let it go now. So I was asking myself, because with the book, it released a lot of emotion for me, finally writing it to help people. And I'm like, oh my gosh, truthfully, that was the part. So I was saying, experience. So the awareness about, always being this overachiever, because I just like doing lots of things. And that's where I felt it was. And I do like doing lots of things and I can do a lot of things in a short amount of time. But when this came into my awareness, I was like, oh my gosh, I got to close the door. I'm still waiting to maybe that one person will notice and say, wow, I'm really proud. Look what you did, or look at where you've been. That little kid was still waiting for that. So when I was able to release that and let it go, then everything changed again. My vibration jumped, my business changed, like everything changes. This is how it works. So ask yourself in a situation, thank you, God, what about this is it that I am not getting, that I am not seeing? So if you're complaining about the same thing over and over, why are you afraid to make the change? Say, truthfully, God, show me why I'm so afraid to make the change. And when you can back it out, and then you can use the Reset Let Go tool and say, wow, I'm afraid to make that change because of A, B, and C. Just do it. Like there's that Nike saying, just do it. Well, in your life, you have to say, just going to do it, as long as it's in compassion and kindness. A lot of people ask me this when it comes to career change. Well, what makes you happiest? If it's 60% over here and 40 over here, go to the 60 right now. And don't beat yourself up if it doesn't go into the direction you want, if it doesn't look like that, because this is the time of great change, great transformation. You got to be willing to look behind, say, I'm letting go of all that. Thank you, God. I'm moving forward. I'm moving in a new direction. I'm taking that energy in. There's a new me and I'm moving forward now. And claim that and say, I'm moving forward. And know that if you're in our community or you're on the Facebook or you're in groups, you have abilities for all of us to come and help you keep moving through it, because that's the key that everyone's forgotten. If you don't have a sounding board or a community, you can do the one-on-one appointment. But what I like to do those for a lot of my community to clean them up, because they've been working through and making changes. So they come and they're like, I need a cleanup. Great. So you don't need as many when you're actually working in the group work. And then you get the shift. You get the shift of the whole group, which we all require right now because the world is shifting so fast. So you get more support when you're willing to show up and say, I need more help in this area. What am I not getting? Show me what I'm not getting. Tell me what I'm not getting. So I invite you, tracylclark.com. There's a free membership there with clearings and activations. You can sign in and enjoy them all, or come to the Miraculous Academy, or there's tons of clearings, and we keep doing the show every week. I hope you guys have an incredible 2 weeks. I am going to do a checkout and refresh and reconnect with the hand of God for me. And I'm so excited. I always come back feeling better and more vibrant. We always need a break from the world. I will be taking my mini break from the world. But when I do come back, we'll have another call-in show. We have special guests, like I said, at the end of the month. So you'll want to go and check out who that is. I think you'll be quite excited. And know how amazing and special you are. And say to yourself, I contribute to the world. It's why I'm here. And all that other chatter, all the other stuff you tell yourself is not of God. You are a child of God that is love. That is the enemy spirit. And when you understand this, you will have, and I'll declare it over you now, supernatural, miraculous breakthroughs. So have an incredible week, and I will see you in a couple of weeks.